but eventually I was able to get it done. And the book was submitted to a number of publishers who rejected it because they said, oh, we don't do love stories. Oh, we don't do history. Oh, we don't do medicine. We don't do culture. And eventually University of Mississippi Press said, hey, it has all of this. Let's do it. So I'm here now to go ahead and share with you whatever questions Marcia might have.
Just a comment, something that I picked up at Neil and Jose didn't mention, but I was struck in reading the two books that both of you had an older woman that you became extremely close to. Nella Bones for Neil and Mary Ruth, of course, for Jose, and sort of became like a mother in Corville.
That's who we went to visit this morning, our surrogate mother. And whenever we come to this area, we stay at Carville. So, but it was very unusual because last night we actually stayed at the administration building. We didn't stay at the infirmary or the old infirmary. They actually allowed us to stay across the boundary and stay at the mansion.
And as Jose said, Magdalena, his wife, who you refer to as a saint, but she stayed with Jose through all of his time in Carville. And I'd like for her to tell us.
My name is Magdalena Ramirez. My maiden name is Santos. So if you translate that, it's saints. I try to tell them, don't use that, because they'll think you put it in. Jose has been through a long journey, and we've been on it together. But like Neil mentioned, it is so true that when you're actually going through the experience, you take one day at a time, and you deal with the issues at hand. It took Jose 10 years to write this book because it was very painful to get back into the moment. And the moments that I tell Jose and he still experiences is as he talks about his parents and the pain associated with dealing with the disease. One of the good things that Jose's father did back in our hometown of Laredo, Texas, was that when Jose was 20 years old and he came to the USPHS hospital in Carville, he put a notice in the newspaper telling all his friends and family members that he was hospitalized, and anybody that wished to write to him could do so. I think that's part of the journey in terms of education about the disease. We didn't know anything about leprosy. Being from Laredo, Louisiana, as far as we were concerned, was across the world because we don't come out of Laredo. His family's there, my family's there. We seem to be the only ones out in Houston, and one of Jose's sisters is in Houston. So as far as we knew, his illness was going to cause death. And the journey as he came was so painful that his sister was giving him pain medication on the road. But to us, it was the right place for him because we could see from one day to the next how he was placed in the infirmary, and then the following day that we came up, he was actually sitting up. From someone that was in constant pain, prone position, for us to come in the following day and see that change, it was a miracle to us. It was a miracle. So even though it was a hardship of separation, 7 years, it was still a very hopeful place. And what we saw was the fact that people that went there had no choice but to go there. Jose wasn't taken by police officers or anything, but he was told that's the only place you can go to. So there were no guards, there was no way of, not if you wanted to leave the place, but in a sense he was incarcerated. We found a lot of very special people there that were there at a very young age, such as Jose, that didn't have any choice, no choice to vote, no choice. They had to change their names, family members disowned them. So we found a group of people that became our family, and they still are. And I think the journey that Jose has taken as an advocate for persons with Hansen's disease have brought him to so many countries and comparing so many stories in Japan, in Brazil, in Hawaii, China, we see very similar patterns in terms of people being isolated, put in islands, separated from their family members, and not allowed to have children, or if they did, to give the children away. A lot of injustices that we look back and we say, on the one hand, I am glad that Jose got there at the right time. On the other hand, we see how some people didn't have any choice to go anywhere else. So when they closed the hospital, the USPHS hospital, some of the persons with Hansen's disease had to make some very hard choices. Do I stay behind and get medical treatment, or do I get a stipend that allows me to leave out in the community? And if you've ever worked with people in institutions or that are institutionalized, this is a very hard decision to make because they're used to being taken care of. And we didn't say one way or the other what people should do. They had to make their own decisions. But we saw some of the hardships that were caused as a result of leaving with the stipend that was given by the government. But individuals that didn't know how to maneuver the medical system to take care of themselves, that had not driven a car, that had a lot of shortcomings, that when they went out there, they realized that and didn't do well at all. There are still 15 persons with Hansen's disease at the hospital. Well, I still call it a hospital, even though it's now under the state and the national reserves. But they're living there till the end of their lives. So when Jose goes out to talk about his experiences, he's talking on behalf of a lot of those persons that didn't have a voice, that were not able to get out. And I think that they see him and they appreciate what he's doing in terms of his advocacy. But it's going to be a long, long battle, because when Jose talks about stigma, we're churchgoers, we're Catholic, and every time we go to church and they have the lecture on Leviticus, the words are right there. And as much as Jose goes up to our priest and says, look, you know, I happen to be one of those persons, and I would rather be referred as a person with Hansen's disease with the proper name, and there is treatment, that sometimes it opens doors to provide education to the community, and at other times it closes doors, you know, because people feel like you're not going to change the Bible, so, you know, get over it.